Hello, everybody. My name is Ethan Black. I'm here to talk about AEW Dark from this past Tuesday, this past Wednesday's Dynamite, and give you a an update preview of tonight's Rampage. So let's get started with AEW Dark from Tuesday, December 6th, from Atlantic City, New Jersey. This was taped last month. So the opening match, the Ring of Honor 6-man tag champs, The Boys and Don Castle, they defeat Jane Follow, Justin Carino, and Sonny DeBarge. 2 minutes and 30 seconds, Baron and Carino. Not a bad match. So the match started off with Jane Follow chest bumps Castle. Castle takes control. He tags in Brandon Tate. They go back and forth for DeFarge and Brandon Tate get tagged in. Brandon hits an insecurity, takes back in Castle. And the Boys and Don Castle take over till the end of the match. Castle hits Carino with a bang ring to get the win. Next match, Abaddon goes well with Leva Bates. They lock up, start the match. Leva Bates trips Abaddon. Abaddon recovers quickly. Bates hits a pair of kicks and a Norse suplex. Abaddon fires back with a forearm bulldog. Bates hits a knee to Abaddon. Only got a 2 count. Then hits a German, but Abaddon gets fired back with a step of insecurity and then hits the Black Glove for the win. 2 minutes and 39 seconds. Very much a squash match. Third match, Brian Cage goes on with Leon Ruffin. Brian Cage does some catches. Ruffin does some bicep curls and then drops him. And then Ruffin hits a drop kick. Cage comes back with a back body drop and then hits a chop and throws him to the opposite corner. Hits a backbreaker. Ruffin gets some moves in, but the end of the match happens where he hits a clothesline, a parallel, and a weapon X for the win in 5 minutes and 35 seconds. And then after the match, Prince Nana got on the mic. He's been telling everyone since day one of Cage is the greatest. He said the fans, which is empathy excellent, that was made possible with the weapon excellence and execution. And then he said the empathy is forever and they're on the hunt. So before the next match, Sonny Jack tells the Brick City boys and second ask what Brick City is. Jay Lethal is the king of New Jersey. And he called Jeff Jarrett the king of Tennessee before he'd say Brick City will crumble. So we go to that tag match. Brick City boys goes against Jay Lethal and Saddam Singh. Not really a match. Jay Lethal hits a short tackle, hits a thrush kick, takes Singh. Saddam Singh hits Jay Cruz with a fireman's carry press to the outside on top of Victor Chase before hitting a boss man slam. And the match for which Jay Lethal hits the lethal injection for the win in 1:54. Match number 5, the number 10 for the Ring of Honor Women's title. Athena goes on with Becca. So the match starts with Athena hits Becca with a right hand, hits an uppercut, throws her across the ring, then hits some stomps in the corner. Becca makes a comeback. She hits a cutter before Athena throws her to the outside and into the steps. He throws her back to the ring, nails a right hand, and then locks in a dragon sleeper for the win. So Athena gets the win by submission 3 minutes, 11 seconds. In the sixth and final match, the main event, Trent Beretta goes on with Anthony Henry, best friends against Four Horsemen. Trent Beretta offers his hands up, walks in the front canteen, or he gets out by hitting an overhead throw, then sends him to the outside and hits a crossbody over the top. Beretta tries to go for somebody. Henry says wait, and Beretta crashes in a barricade. They find outside for a bit, and then they go back inside the ring. Beretta hits a German, then a half and half suplex, and a general DT. That only got 2 count. And then on the outside, Beretta hits another, only got a 2 count. Then hits a double stomp off the top that got another 2 count. Beretta hits a do-buster on the floor, on the apron, throws him back, and somehow that was not enough to put him away as Henry gets a work break. They go back for elbow strikes before Henry hits a drop kick, but Beretta fires back, hits a lariat. He tries to go for do-buster again. Henry reverses a pile driver, then rolls him up, but Beretta counters for the win in 10 minutes and 49 seconds. Out of this episode of Dark, Beretta, I should say, just go watch the main event. Best match of the night. So that was AEW Dark from this past Tuesday. So let's go to Wednesday Night Dynamite from December 7th, live from Cedar Park, Texas. 5 matches. So we start with the Dynamite Ring Battle Royal, the unknown title match. The participants are Deal like Jim Orange Cassidy, Ethan Page, Ricky Starks, Brian Cage, Sean Dean, Don Castle, Jack Perry, Matt Hardy, The Butcher, Dustin Rhodes, Lee Morion's Kid Sabian. So Sabian tried to eliminate Cassidy early in the match by biting his hands, but the Blade, who's not in the match, he eliminates Cassidy from the match. Rhodes hits a Canadian Storm Sabian before eliminating him. Hardy tries to eliminate Ricky Starks, but the Butcher eliminates Rhodes with a lariat to the back of the head. Brian Cage eliminates Don Castle, but the boys are there to catch him and throws him back in the ring, but fails. His Cage slams him to the outside. Brian Cage, Jack Perry find the apron, where he hits a meteor off the top that eliminates Cage as they go to pitcher. During the pitcher received Matt Hardy and Ethan Page or Helen Page, and then when we come back, uh, Ricky starts trying to like the Butcher, but the Butcher makes a save or fights out of it, or he gets eliminated with a spear. Jack Perry hits a hit to eliminate Leo Moore before he gets eliminated up by Big was W Moore, now going by Big Bill. Big Bill falls over by chokes on Perry on the apron. That bump looked nasty. Ethan Page tells Hardy to raise his hand as Sean Dean and Ricky Starks are both laid out. All four start fighting. Sean Dean tries to eliminate Ethan Page, but Hardy takes him over a twist of fate, and Page tells Hardy to eliminate him, which he does, and so Page eliminates Sean Dean. You see the tease of the return of the broken character. Matt Hardy starts breaking, does the delete stuff. We're attacking Ricky Starks. Page joins in. Ethan Page's back return. Hardy tries to eliminate Starks, but Starks switches around and eliminates them. We're down to two, the finalists of the AEW World Title and World Tennis Tournament. Starks hits Page. He tries to go for a spear, but Page ducks it and hits a roundhouse kick. And then they try to do the War on 2000 spot where he tried to power slam over the top of Ricky Starks, counters it and sends him to the outside. So Ricky Starks gets the win. 13 minutes and 8 seconds. I'm not a big fan of these battle royals, but the battle royal was actually, this one was not too bad. The crowd was really into it. So Ricky Starks gets a challenge for the Diamond ring. After the match, the world champ MJF comes out. He hits the ring. He tells Starks he'd be with him 1 sec before saying a little birdie told him that Bryan Danielson wasn't showing up tonight because he's with William Regal at the hospital. And he said that Bryan's terrified him, especially when he did the William Regal last week because he's a bad, bad man. And he said next week, this Wednesday coming up, he'll be a 4-time Diamond ring champion and holder of the greatest prize on the AEW World Title. And he said the people in Texas seems to like Starks, but he said he's the absolute drizzling crap. And he says Rudy Poo candy ass because he's done everything else from the guy that he basically calls him a rip-off Rock, which he says he's got to start calling him the Pebble, which I did get a laugh out. Now, he said next week he's going to put his pocket, drive his expensive car, drive Starks into his body, skip his scrawny butt all the way back to NWA. We're wrestling on YouTube where he belongs. He says reign's had just begun. So Ricky Starks, as he was getting the mic short, tackles MJF. He calls him Maxi Pad and fifth-rate Roddy Piper, so the fans start chanting Maxi Pad. He said he talks about Starks talks about MJF trashes the city, and his low hang is getting dry. He said basically his stuff crappy. He's no way that he's better than him. He said the difference between them is MJF lets the fans or Rigo down, but Ricky Starks does it every night, week, and month. Well, MJF takes his butt over to Greece for 3 months, but he's been busting his, and he voice response putting pressure. Stark shows up the meet and greet while MJF just blows him off, and he calls him a brown nose, and he just not about respect. He said next week's a big deal because he's got to shut MJF up, and he said he doesn't deserve the world title. And then after that great promo, MJF kicks him downstairs. He tries to hit him with the diamond ring, but Starks ducks it and lays out MJF with the spear before off the world title to end that segment. And I can't not wait for the main event next week on Dynamite. So we come back from break. Jon Moxley is backstage. He said last week they didn't take it too far. He said he respects Hangman Adam Page for doesn't love fighting. This is all elite wrestling, not all elite talking. And this Friday on Rampage, they'll bring back ass kicking wrestling, and they are sick of the JAS. And put them for if you mirror for good, and he tells Paige he wants another piece, for the final. So we go to the second match. Darby Allin challenges Samoa Joe for the TNT title. Darby starts off the match hot by punching Joe in the corner, draw kicks him to the outside, but he misses a cannonball, crashes right to the barricade. Samoa Joe throws Allin to the apron and the barricade a couple times. Then he exposes the floor. He tries to powerbomb him, but Allin fights out of it, but he gets caught a power slam. That's just a break. After the break, Joe bounces Allin off the ring post as he crashed the outside. Samson looking after him as Bryce Remember starts to 10 count. Allin gets back in at 6. And then Joe hits a Manhattan drop, high boot, and a senton that only got a 2 count. They go back to the outside. Allin dodges him. He throws him into the steps. Then he hits a coffin drop to the outside. Throws him in there. He tries it again, but Joe catches him. But Allin hits a stunner code red, and then a code red that somehow got a 2 count. Joe throws him, hits a STL in the corner. He goes for the muscle buster, but instead they went to the top. Iron fights him off, hits a coffin drop, but Joe catches him in the clean clutch. And Darby Allin had no choice, but eventually passes out. So Samoa Joe retains the TNT title in 10 minutes and 29 seconds. This was my favorite match of the night. Samoa Joe looked like a beast out there. We haven't seen that in a long time, but I'm glad Joe retained the TNT title. So after the match, Darby Allin gets back up and he pushes Joe, which Joe just followed by a hit bar, takes him down. He grabs his skateboard and then hits a muscle buster to Darby Allin on the skateboard. That hurt. Then he put him in a sleeper hold. Referee tried to break her up, but Rollo comes out and makes a save. And then they promote the TV title match for the Saturday on Ramp at Final Battle. Then we go backstage. Tony Schiavone's with the All-In champ Orange Cassidy and Kip Sabian. Cassidy said that Sabian didn't have to do any of this. He just wanted a title shot. All he had to do was ask. Sabian said he's injured, and Cassidy says he can't find someone who wants to become the All-In champion. If you have seen the spoilers, I'm not going to spoil it here. This time match will be on Rampage. Then we get a video package hyped up the Ring of Honor World Title match for Final Battle. Then we get the tag team match, our third match of the night, as Blackpool Combo Club's number one contender for the pure title, Wheeler Yuta, and number two for the world title, Claudio Castagnoli. Teams up to go against JS's pure champion, Daniel Garcia, Jake Hager. Garcia and Yuta were going to start the match, but Garcia had nothing to do with them, so he takes in Jake Hager. Hager comes in, puts his purple hat, and he passes Claudio, who teases put it on, but he just drop kicks into the crowd. This makes Hager mad, so he attacks Yuta. Yuta and Garcia go at it. Then he tags in Castagnoli. The full Real American tag team go after each other. Yuta takes out JS. Sammy Guevara distracts the ref. Hager and Garcia double team Yuta. Hager hits the Hager bomb for a 2 count. And then Yuta hits a superplex. That sends us to a break. We come back from break. Yuta hits Garcia with a German suplex. And then towards the end of the match, Claudio Castagnoli goes for a giant swing on Hager, but Garcia breaks out by jumping on him. His back. But Castagnoli slams him down, and then Yuta hits a splash off the top. Claudio finally hits a giant swing, followed by later. I got a 2 count. Then he goes to the top. Sammy Guevara tries to, but Moxley takes him out. Hager locks him in the ankle lock. Garcia puts you in a dragon tamer. Castagnoli breaks out, hits an up on Hager to get the win in 12 minutes and 42 seconds. This was a alright tag match. It's just pretty much giving Yuta and Castagnoli some momentum going into title matches on Final Battle. After the match, Tony Schiavone joins them in the ring. There's been a lot of talk about having a full gear, and then he brings up a video of an interview he did 2 weeks ago with Regal. So yeah, as Regal have a full gear, Regal said people will only see if something happens to him. Says Regal took exception at what MJF did to Schiavone, because they're the emails he's got from MJF, so he gave MJF what he wanted and beat him the AEW World Champion. And now everybody in the company would chase him. They also, the Blackpool Combo Club didn't need him, and they could teach you to be the greatest wrestler in the world. So John Moxley will understand the reason what he did to teach him is the final thing, which is always stay one step ahead and make sure you got the eyes back of your head. He says Blackpool Combat Club until he dies. He says he's emotional. And all three of them look shocked. So he asked Moxley for a response. He said, Final Battle, this war of JS will be over. And then on Rampage, he's going to make a statement and challenges any wrestler in the world. And they're here to make a serious statement, which we find out would be Kensuke Takeshita. Then we get a video of the House of Black. Malachi Black's this company has become corrupted, and second time perhaps time for himself and House of Black put down the corruption. Julia Hart steps in and says the crime is treason. Buddy Matthews shows that the verdict is war, and Broken says the sentence is extermination. And then Black says if anyone has issue with what they've done, the next week they'll come all. So come one, come all. And that match has been made for Winners Coming. Then we go to a sit-down interview from earlier today where Tony Schiavone is with the women's champion, Jamie Hayter. She says she's baffled. Everybody else gets to sit down, but not her. And then she asks Schiavone what they want to know. Schiavone mentioned Cheetah takes on the bunny for the Regina Del Rey title. Jamie Hayter says the title is getting interesting. be your WWE reigning independent champ. And she's going to have a close look at the title match on Rampage, but she's the reign of that's what came to her title, and she'll give an opportunity a lifetime as the winner will challenge her for the women's title. Then we go to our fourth match, trios match, the baddies, the TBS team, Jake Gargill, Ralph Velvet, and Layla Gray. They go against Kiera Hogan, Sky Blue, and Madison Rain. Jake Cargill and Sky Blue starts the match, but Cargill quickly takes out the Ralph Velvet. They trade penitent for Layla Gray gets involved. They double team Blue, that gets a 2 count. Madison Rain takes in. They work over Layla Gray for Blue gets back in the ring, and then Gray takes back out to Velvet. Blue sends Velvet to the outside, but Red Velvet traps Blue in the ring skirt. They go in pitcher. We come back. They're Velvet and Blue are down. And then they make the take to Jay Cargill and Kiera Hogan. Hogan drives Cargill into the corner where hits his line ball. They send Gray and Velvet to the outside, but Cargill comes back, hits a choke slam. Tries to go for Jada, but Kiera fights out and takes Rain. In the match, Cargill hits Rain with the back elbow and then Jada to get the win. In 8 minutes and 13 seconds, the match was all right, a little sloppy at times, but Jay Cargill keeps an undefeated streak as they go to 43-0, I believe. Surprisingly, no Bow Wow on the show. I thought this would be the night with the feud going on. I have no interest, honestly, in the Jay Cargill Bow Wow feud, but we'll keep an update on it. We go backstage. Tony Schiavone is backstage with Saraya, but Britt Baker interrupts quickly, and she crashes on her biggest win at Full Gear, but says will never happen again. And she says her first match was a paper match, and the biggest star, and she hints to take us to the Kia Forum for Dynamite on January 11th, and challenges her to a tag match against herself and Jamie Hayter. And she tells Saraya to find a partner, and Saraya teases choosing Tony Schiavone, but Britt Baker pulls him away for the segment to come to an end. Then our fifth and final match in the main event, the AEW World Tag Title up for grabs. The Acclaimed defend against FTR. So Dark Side would make going to start the match. We see Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lee's center team. We're watching backstage. Cash Wheeler gets a tag in. Him, Bowens trade pen attempts. He gets knocked to the outside, and the Acclaim hits Harwood with the Sesame Timbers. Caster escapes a sharpshooter attempt from Harwood, but he tries to do one on himself as Bowens put Wheeler in one himself. And then they go to the outside where FTR sends Bowens to the ring apron, and they scissor each other to go to break. We come back for FTR have control over the Acclaim. Hits a crossbody. Bowens comes in and makes a hot take babyface comeback, and FTR hits a knee strike on Harwood for a 2 count. Then a neck breaker that got another 2 count. FTR hits a spike power draw on Owens and that somehow only got a 2 count. FTR tried to go for the big rig. They failed the first time, but they got it the second time. They went for the cover, but Bowens broke it up. Harwood puts Cash on the top rope, but Bowens breaks it up and hits Wheeler with the arrival. Caster hits the mic drop, but tries to go for mic drop, but Wheeler gets out of the way. And then Caster and Wheeler go back and forth. Wheeler hits a lariat for a 2 count. It's 2 more than a powerbomb, but Caster counters the powerbomb and rolls up Wheeler for the win. So the Acclaim retain the World Tag Team titles at 16 minutes and 44 seconds. This is actually my second favorite match of the night. I wouldn't mind these two teams going back and forth. Then after the match, we hit backstage as the Guns call FTR trash, and they said they have Chris's presence for him. They open a card that says the Briscoes are challenging FTR for the Ring of Honor World Tag Titles in a double dog collar match, final battle, and then they call them names. Said Merry Chris's B word. I'm not gonna say it. So yeah, that was the way to close out Dynamite. The go home show, final battle. It was a good show. If you had to cherry pick, I would watch the TNT title match and the World Tag Team title match. So Friday on Rampage, we get Moxley and Kinesia Takeshita. Shida defends the Regina Del Rey title against the Bunny. The Firms, Leo Mora and Big Bill are in tag team action, and Orange Cassidy defends the All-Night title against opponent Kip Sabian's Choice. Next week's Dynamite winners coming. We get the 4th match of the Best of 7 series for the Trios title. Death Triangle, who have 2 wins, go against the Elite, who have 1 win. House of Black are in Trios action. And then the AEW World Title and the Diamond Ring are on the line. MJF defends both against Ricky Starks. We fought on Final Battle. We got Jericho defends a Ring of Honor World Title against Claudio Castagnoli. If he loses, he must join Daryl Appreciation Society. Daniel Garcia defends the Pure Title against Viola Viuda. Mercy Martinez defends the Women's Title against Athena. Samoa Joe defends the TV Title against Juice Robinson. We got tag team matches. Shane Taylor Promotions. Shane Taylor and JD Griffey goes against Forbidden Our Glory. Remar 6-man tag titles up for grabs as the Boys and Dog Castle defend against the Embassy. And FTR defend the World Tag titles against the Briscoes in a double dog collar match. This is the third time. The first time they met was at Supercar Honor, where FTR won the World Tag titles away from the Briscoes. Then he met Supercar Honor, an excellent 2 out of 3 falls match. And now it's the third time. So that is the final final card. And they'll probably announce more matches on Rampage as we will have a 0 hour pre-show. But that is Dynamite, the review and Ring of Honor final battle card. I am Ethan Black. Have a good day, guys. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.